You're listening to Sports Skope with your host, Robert Butler, on Northeast Streaming Sports.
Okay, I'm starting to get this down, everybody. Hello, Periscope, Twitter, StreamYard. I got my got everything going on here live. Hello, welcome to this second snow day edition. We've got about anywhere here in the middle Tennessee area from 6 to 8 inches of snow. I've measured it out in my yard. So it looks like, and it may be a little bit less than that, give or take. It just depends on what area, middle Tennessee, you live in. And mind you guys, that's over about 3 layers of ice in certain areas. It's very bad situation here at spots. Going to talk about how the Colts really worked over the Eagles in this trade. We'll talk about the quarterback Dominos, everybody. Talk a little bit about that huge baseball contract, Tim Tebow and all that stuff. Didn't put that in the title, but this sitting around all week for the most part. Worked about a half a day this week. Gained about 5 pounds. But, hey, I did a lot of reading on the NFL. So, first, let me tell you about Alternite, everybody. Alternite is a nonprofit founded by toilet boards out of Brooklyn, New York area. Received support or partnered with New York hockey Ranger legends Mark Messier, Adam Graves, Ron DeGay, WFAN's Boomer Esiason, most legendary local sports talk station in the country. These guys provide humanitarian educational services to underserved communities. For example, pay fees for youth to play sports, also provide equipment in the music and health arts as well. Fields they help out for those. For more information on how to request help for youth or to donate, you can contact them at www.alternite, ALTRUNITE.com, or visit the Alternite Facebook page, or you can call 917-775-4005. Tell them Robert from Sports Skope sent you. Alternite, good people doing a good thing. Okay, everybody, I spent several hours this morning reading over the NFL quarterback dominoes. Who's going to go where? We all thought with this trade from the Bears offered a first-round pick for Carson Wentz. They offered Nick Foles. They offered Tariq Cohen. And that was on Super Bowl Sunday, and it never came through. That was a valid source. This was out of Philadelphia, New York radio station, or a Philadelphia radio station. A lady that works there, she reported that. Then, so that's set for weeks, and now the Colts make this blockbuster trade to pick up Carson Wentz. They send the third-round pick. Yes, I said it right. A third-round pick and a conditional second-round pick that could turn into a first-round pick in 2022. If Wentz plays more than 75, he has to play at least 75% of the snaps next year, which means, and Spotrac tweeted out that they could sit Wentz, the Colts could sit Wentz in a chunk of the third quarter and play 70% of the snaps and get out of that, giving the Eagles a first-round pick. On top of all that, the Eagles take a $38 million dead cap money hit for this year. It's the largest in history. The Eagles take a $33.8 million dead cap to reunite, Wentz with Frank Wright, the former offensive coordinator. He's the head coach of the Colts. So it looks like Jalen Hurts will likely go to Philadelphia. And like I said, Chicago offered And I'm telling you, guaranteed first-round pick. It's the 20th pick. They had the better first-round pick this year for Wentz. They offered Tariq Cohen and Nick Foles. And so Wentz told, basically, from what I'm understanding, and this is out of the Philadelphia area. This was a writer out of Philadelphia. What did he say? I want to make sure and get this guy's name right. He said, okay, Jeff McLean out of Philadelphia. I want to say, who does he write for? Philadelphia Inquirer. He said Carson Wentz had leverage and clearly used it to help energize a trade to the Colts rather than clear he would want to play in Indy over the Bears. So if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm ticked off to the high heavens this morning because you don't know what Jalen Hurts can bring you. Why didn't Howie Roseman, the general manager of the Eagles, call Carson Wentz's bluff? He's still early in this contract. There's 3 more years. I want to make sure I got this right. I want to say there's 3 more years left on his contract, which is okay. So 2021, 4 years. 4 years left on this contract. So I call his bluff and I trade him to the Bears anyways. What are you going to do? Not show up? They own your rights for 4 years, Carson Wentz. And I think that he'll feel the pressure and he would go play for the Bears. He would pout for a few weeks. And I think he would go a guy like Matt Nagy, who runs a very player-friendly offense. I think he would talk him into coming into camp, let cooler heads prevail, and play with some of the weapons that they could acquire with Wentz. I know Allen Robinson would be a free agent. Mooney's not a bad player. David Montgomery's not a bad player. You've got a grade A defense that beat the Super Bowl champs early this year in the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're desperate because Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are both on the hot seat. They snuck in as a third wild card last year. So why didn't Howie Roseman call his bluff and trade him anyways? Beats all I've ever seen. So what does this mean for the Colts? Chris Ballard is my favorite general manager in all of sports. The general manager for the Colts, man, this guy, he drafts well. He manages cap well. He doesn't overpay for players. They have a top 5 offensive line coming in this year. They still got their first and second round pick to add on. They've got Michael Pittman at wide receiver, who is under rookie contract. They've got Paris Campbell. They've got Jonathan Taylor. They may bring back Marlon Mack for a discount rate at running back. They may bring back T.Y. Hilton at a discount rate at wide receiver, but he's 30 years old. If he wants a lot of money, I would send him packing. I've said that. You know, Carson Wentz loves him some tight ends. You've got Jack Doyle, one of the best route running tight ends in the game. Great guy to work with, the guy like a Carson Wentz. You've got potentially bringing back a Mo Alley Cox and Trey Burton. They came back last year for peanuts. I could see them wanting to come back for mid-level tight end pay money to play with them. You got a top 10 defense, and you've still got money under the cap. I mean, so here, check this out. So Philadelphia pays this $38 million dead cap money. So what does this mean for the salary cap? What kind of cap hit does Carson Wentz have going forward for your Indianapolis Colts fans? Next year will be $25 million. That's what Brady was being paid. That's mid-level for a veteran quarterback, but it falls off in 2022 to $22 million. Then it goes to 25 and 26 and 23 and 24. The quarterbacks could be making over $40 million by then. So it's a complete bargain. And then on top of that, I tweeted directly at the Spotrac guys. These are the people who really break down these contracts. They're the most trusted outlet to go to, Spotrac, the Spotrac. So they can cut, the Colts can cut Carson Wentz for zero dead cap money next year. So if he plays in 2021 and he's bad, they can cut him for nothing. The Colts can't lose in this situation. The Colts cannot lose. Will they lose a third-round pick for a potential franchise quarterback and maybe in the second-round pick next year? And you keep your first-round and second-round pick this year? Are you kidding me? I mean, it's almost where they can't lose. It's a power flush. Chris Ballard is my favorite. It used to be Ozzie Newsome from Baltimore. He retired. Chris Ballard. I almost want to pull for the – now, I'm out of Nashville. The Titans, this is big Titan country in here. I get it. But you almost want to pull for Chris Ballard and the Colts on general principle because he knows how to work the system. He works the draft. He works the contracts. He lets bad contracts go. He didn't sign – you notice he didn't sign Phillip Rivers to that big contract for multiple years because it would be dead money if he retires. They owe Phillip Rivers nothing. They owe him nothing. Even if you got a guy on contract, check this out, everybody. The Patriots don't even do this right. If you got a guy on contract and he retires, you still got a dead cap money to pay him that next year. Well, I don't think it's right, but Chris Ballard did not sign Phillip Rivers to 2 and 3 years. He signed him 1 year. You provide service. We pay you for service. Then you get gone. That's what he did. He retired. Phillip Rivers retired. And now you've got top offensive line. You got a potential franchise quarterback. You're under the cap. You have all your great players on all your great players are coming back under contract, including Quentin Nelson, your offensive lineman there. You got Jack Doyle for nothing. Great tight end. Forrest Buckner at the defensive line. I mean, it's unbelievable. This guy knocked it out of the park here. Kudos to the Indianapolis Colts. Chris Ballard, man, I'd buy you a drink, even though you make way more money than me. If I'm a Colts fan, you got to send your kudos to Chris Ballard for knocking this potentially out of the park. Now, even if he's a bust, you lose a second-round pick next year and a third-round pick this year, and then you just go back into the draft next year and try it out again at quarterback. Or you sign another free agent because you got the cap space, because you're not an idiot. You don't overpay for wide receivers. You just don't overpay for players who you don't think are that good. Called making all the right moves. So what does this mean for the Jets and Sam Darnold? What does this mean for the Bears? Well, there you go. The Bears, by the way, let's jump right into this. Okay, so the Jets, I read over, oh God, I can't tell you guys how many mock drafts I read over this morning. The Athletic mock drafts, the NFL Network, CBS mock drafts, ESPN, Todd McShay, and of course Mel Kiper from ESPN. All these mock drafts, the majority of them point to the Jets at number 2, Carlos, if you're coming on here. This Wilson guy, Tyler Wilson out of BYU. Oh, no, excuse me. Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson out of BYU. CBS, Pete Prisco, Dane Brozier from The Athletic, NFL Network, Daniel Jeremiah, Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson. Now listen, Jet fans. Okay, Joe Douglas is your general manager, right? You got Robert Saleh. You got a new head coach there. The way you get to the Super Bowl quickly is you take a quarterback on a rookie contract. If this guy, Zach Wilson, is half as good as what they're saying it is, and this guy, he could run, he can throw. His 6'3" frame, 33 touchdowns, 3 interceptions his junior year. He jumped from his sophomore year from 10 touchdowns. And what did he have his sophomore year? I mean, he exploded last year. It was like 11 touchdowns and 9 picks. But last year, this guy explodes. 6'3" frame, run like the wind blows, can run multiple different systems here. If you trade if you trade, say, a Sam Darnold, and like I said, most of the 90% of these guys are saying Zach Wilson is going to the Jets at number 2, okay? You could turn around and trade Sam Darnold, who's got a year left on his rookie contract, and you can do the 5th-year option. The Bears got the 20th pick, okay? The Jets, Carlos, if you're there, I don't know. I can't see if you're saying anything to me, but the Jets have the Seattle Seahawks first-round pick, guys. So you would get the 20th, the 27th from Seattle. You would have your second-round pick. You would have 6 picks plus, check this out, 6 picks in the top 100 plus your second in cap space in all of the NFL, and you bring in a quarterback on a rookie contract. You've got pieces on defense. You got a linebacker that's coming back next year who opted out, okay? You have Quentin Williams, a centerpiece on defense there. You build the defense around Quentin Williams, and then, of course, you've got that linebacker. I can't call his name right now, but you've got 6 in the top 98. The most cap money in all of the NFL. And then you bring in if Zach Wilson's half as good as you think he is, you could turn around with those 20th and 27th pick. You go after running back, wide receiver, maybe go after tight end. You can slide in. Listen, in free agency, you can get there's tons of pass rushers are going to be available. Carolina released a guy. Von Miller is likely going to get released from Denver. Okay. Carolina, Kawan Short could get. He's already going to be released from the Carolina Panthers. And cornerback Patrick Peterson was released there. Now he'd probably go to a contender there, but you've got all kinds of options there. And I can see what Joe Douglas's school of thought is. I didn't draft Sam Darnold. I can trade him for a late first-round pick. You get them 2. You got 2 firsts. You got that second. You got the 6 in the top 98. You got second most money in all the NFL. You can bring in free agents. Now, my free agents would be offensive linemen. If you think you need guards or whatever, or another tackle, if you want to upgrade, offensive linemen. But the draft, you go running back, wide receiver. Do not, now unless it's mid-level exception, if you're a Jet fan, do not pay a wide receiver a big bunch of money. Odell Beckham's going to be on the market. I would pass, okay? T.Y. Hilton, if he wants mid-level exception, yeah, sure. Corey Davis, mid-level exception, yeah, sure, maybe. Don't pay these guys top-end money. You want to pay that to a cornerback, an interior offensive lineman, because they're harder to find, okay? And maybe a pass rusher, but you're pretty good at defense. They're not too bad on defense. You've seen how well they played. They played well against the L.A. Rams. So the school of thought here is the Jets take that pick with the second pick and trade Sam Darnold. And if you can get higher than a 20th pick, do you trade him to San Francisco for their 12th pick? If they'll take him, yeah, sure. Then you have a 12th pick and a second pick, and then you got the 27th. That would be even better if you're a Jet fan. Okay? So since a lot of people are talking about Miami, there's been speculation that maybe Miami drafts another quarterback here. So I put Miami in my discussion of picks. Now, according to the mock drafts and the guys I did, NFL Network, CBS, ESPN, the majority of them are saying these guys either take at the 3 if they can't trade down. If they can't trade down, or if they do not go after Watson. I would try to go after Watson with that 3rd pick overall. You have the cornerbacks. You're not bad at wide receiver. You're good at tight end. You're good at defense and pass rush. You get a guy like Watson. Now, I don't know if Tua, but they keep showing their hand. Now, they may be better at disguising what they're trying to do than I can think of. But from everything I read, they're not going to trade their third overall pick, and they're going to hold on to Tua. But since there's been speculation, me personally, I would say Tua in the third pick overall. What do you say, Houston? Houston saying, "Now Tua's not just Deshaun Watson. We're going to lead a little bit more than that." Okay, well, what do you want? But those talks have quietened down. A lot of the people are saying this guy, Penelli Sewell. This guy's from Sewell is a left tackle out of Oregon. A lot of the mock drafts are saying the left tackle out of Oregon, which I said that, if you get a left tackle early that's touted really high like that, take him. I would never go against that at 3. So some are saying Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from LSU, Pickles, he's graded higher from a lot of these draft experts than the Devontae Smith, the guy who won the Heisman Trophy. This guy, Jamar Chase from LSU, a lot of the draft people are saying he's a better prospect than this Alabama guy. Usually these guys are right when they say that. And here lately, these LSU guys, if you look at Odell Beckham, you look at the guy from Pickles, from Cleveland, those two are big-time wide receivers. Both came from LSU. I mean, of course, you got guys like Julio came from Alabama. Calvin Ridley came from Alabama. Jerry Jeudy had flashes. But these LSU guys are been rated higher. They've been better pros for the most part. I mean, they're less used up. So Miami is going to keep Tua, and they're probably going to if it's me, if I'm keeping Tua, I take the tackle. Don't take those wide receivers. Don't take the bait. Don't believe the hype. Give your guys some more. You'll thank me later. Take those guys earlier. And like I said, some of the draft experts said they would move Austin Jackson to right tackle, their first-round pick last year, and they would move this guy who's a true left tackle who grades out really high, this Sewell from Oregon. They would move him over at left tackle. So, okay, and then a lot of stuff is coming up as a potential trade up from Carolina. Okay, Carolina, there's some speculations that Carolina may go after Watson as well. I do not agree with that. I'm not one of those people that thinks Carolina has the ammunition at 8 to pick Watson. They don't have the players. I don't know if they want to give up one of their defensive players. I'm not taking Christian McCaffrey if I'm Houston. Do not take Christian McCaffrey if you're Houston. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and expecting a different result, okay? David Johnson, you don't want another high-dollar running back on your roster. I do not want to take Christian McCaffrey and Christian McCaffrey's contract if I'm the Houston Texans. What am I going to do with the 8th pick? Okay, so I do not think that. Now, as far as Carolina is concerned, most of the draft, most of the mock drafts I read, Carolina is really interested in this guy, Trey Lance Pickles. He's from North Dakota State. Very raw, reminds me of a Steve McNair. He's got the speed of almost as fast as a Lamar Jackson. He throws a good deep ball. Kind of reminds me of Kyler Murray, but he's 6'4". He's a great athlete. He's very raw, but he really likes it up. I watched a lot of his YouTube highlights there. Got that big frame, very strong arm, very steep. The late great Steve McNair. He would fit. He runs that read option perfect at North Dakota State. With Matt Rule in Carolina, there are rumors that they may trade up to 3 to get Trey Lance. So that's why I talk about Carolina. Carolina's got the 8th pick. You offer that pick and maybe another 3rd-round pick, and you move from 8 to 3. That's 5 spots. Yes, I would move down a few spots. Yes, that would be perfect for me. And then it's okay for you to draft a wide receiver. If you're Miami and if you're Carolina, Trey Lance, the 6'4", specimen out of North Dakota State, still very raw. You keep Teddy Bridgewater. That's what I think is the best way to go about this. Everybody's talking about trade Teddy Bridgewater. Very smart, cerebral player. You still got him under contract. He's a 3-year guy. So you keep Teddy Bridgewater and you groom a guy like a Trey Lance. I seriously doubt if Teddy Bridgewater is going to demand a trade. He's lucky to be playing coming off that injury. He's not a guy that will Teddy Bridgewater, he won't lose you games, but he's really not going to win you one with down by 2 minutes to go. I don't have a lot of faith in Bridgewater. But I do like Matt Rule's system. I like the arm strength, the athleticism of a Trey Lance. He's a big play guy. He uses his wide receivers. He uses his tight ends. He's got a lot of across the middle. He's got a lot of instincts. He's very athletic. He runs head on. That's the only knock on him. He runs head on too much where you get concussions. So that is an interesting thing to keep an eye on, everybody. I don't know what I did with my phone because I've got some other notes on there. Okay, a lot of talk has been coming about Atlanta. Some of the mock drafts, everybody, have got Atlanta. Yeah, he's very much like a Josh Allen, come from a small school. Yes, that's a good comparison there to a little bit quicker than Josh Allen. That's saying a lot because Allen ran 88 yards in his last game against Kansas City. Now, Atlanta. There's been speculation now that Atlanta picks at number 4. Remember, they got Arthur Smith, the former Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator guy, calls a great game. Watched just about every game that he coached in this year, especially when I had some fantasy players on there. Pickles, okay? But calls a really good game. Now, good offensive line. A lot of the mock drafts have Atlanta taking Justin Fields out of Ohio State at 4. I think it'd be a great deal from there. Now, Atlanta's sitting in a great position right now, everybody. When you've got a guy like, they cannot get rid, the cap hit's too big. Only thing I can see happening as far as getting rid of Matt Ryan, if they make a trade to San Francisco, so Matt Ryan could go play with this former offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, very consistent, stays healthy compared to Jimmy Garoppolo. Other than that, they can't cut him. It's a $59 million hit this year. It's over the top. Matt Ryan is going to cost too much money. He's a good guy. He would be good to bring in one of these. He would be good to bring in a raw guy. You could bring a Trey Lance in to Atlanta under Arthur Smith and let him sit under Matt Ryan. But they've got Justin Fields out of Ohio State coming to Atlanta at number 4. Others got them taking like a cornerback and all this stuff. Patrick Surtain, that's the son. Some people got them taking Mac Jones. I think that's too high for Mac Jones. But a guy like Justin Fields, you can let him sit there for a year under a Matt Ryan. I think that would be a really good place for Fields to do. So Atlanta, if you're smart, hold on, everybody. Let me see where I'm at here. Atlanta, if you are smart, I would definitely. Atlanta, if you're picking at 4, listen, just take Justin Fields. Ryan's getting older. The new head coach wants his own quarterback, okay? You won't, again, do I hate to sound like a broken record? Teams get to Super Bowls when you have a quarterback who is dirt cheap and a great veteran, or like a Tom Brady, $25 million. It's mid-level. That's mid-level to lower end for veteran. Or you get a quarterback on a rookie contract, okay? Can I emphasize that enough? When you got a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract, Patrick Mahomes last year, Carson Wentz when he was on, Nick Foles was a lower end, bottom feeder backup guy when they had Carson Wentz on his rookie contract for Philadelphia. Jared Goff was on his rookie contract, okay? The 49ers, that contract was very team-friendly. They had a lot of rookies on defensive stars like Nick Bosa, which I'll talk about here in a minute. they had those guys on rookie contracts, everybody. So Bosa was on a rookie. A lot of their defensive players were on rookie contracts. Garoppolo wasn't on a big contract. When you pay these guys over $30 million, let me know the last $30 million plus quarterback who's won a Super Bowl in the last 15 years. It hasn't happened because it's too high, okay? So that's what so Atlanta, draft Justin Fields, let him sit under Matt Ryan for a year, and then move off Matt Ryan. It's a much better number, and then bring in Justin Fields, okay? So let me get back to so everybody else, though, we've already talked about Philadelphia. Philadelphia is going to go with Jalen Hurts. So there's no – now they pick 6. Do you take one of these picks and move up and take another quarterback? Eagles fans, if you're smart, you go out and get a guy like a Trey Lance. You go out and draft a guy like a Justin Fields. Say if Atlanta passes on Fields. If you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, you want to go after Justin Fields. Jalen Hurts is not going to cut it, but that's not going to happen. This is not what I think is going to happen. They're going to stay with Jalen Hurts, and Howard Roseman is going to get fired this year. That's what's going to happen. You're going to underachieve. You're going to be drafted in the top 10 again, and then Howard Roseman will get fired, and then the new general manager will probably fire this Nick Sirianni guy, and then they'll start over with quarterbacks. That's my guess. That's my guess for Philadelphia. Okay, they picked 6, but it is what it is. Now, Detroit. They picked 7. At this point, Detroit had a good deal, guys. Listen, pay attention. Detroit has it. They can play Jared Goff this year. They can play Jared Goff next year. Then they have an out. Okay, so you go through 2021. You go through 2022. As soon as 2022 is over with, you can cut Jared Goff, not take a big cap hit, no big deal. You have an out with Jared Goff. You got 2 seasons with Goff, you can be out with him. So, and then you've also got those extra first-round picks, and you got rid of Matt Stafford's contract. So I think the Lions, it's saying what I read about the Lions is they take wide receiver Jalen Waddle out of Alabama with that pick. So they do not draft the quarterback from the majority of the draft picks. The mocks do not say Detroit taking another quarterback. Okay, and like I said, I've already talked about Carolina picks 8. Now, Denver, what do you do if you're Denver? Okay, Denver speculations have came up that Denver with what's this guy's name? Yeah, Drew Lock. Now, the speculations is Drew Lock at Denver that they would be willing to move on. Remember, John Elway has stepped down as general manager. They got somebody else doing that. They got somebody else making the place. Now, Denver has been one of Deshaun Watson's air quote destinations to go to. Why? I guess because they've got Jerry Jeudy, they got Noah Fant, they got 2 running backs. They've got Sutton, Hamilton. They've got a good receiving core, and they've got a fair defense. But what is Houston getting back in return? What is Houston going to get back in return? They've got like the 9th pick. The quarterbacks could be off the board by then. Do you send over Bradley Chubb and a Noah Fant? I mean, you could get more from a Miami or from a New York Jet team. So I do not see what the Denver Broncos can do. It looks like they will probably be stuck. Vic Fangio, the head coach, is on a hot seat. They may be stuck with Drew Lock. Do they draft the quarterback at 9? Do they draft a second-round quarterback? A Cal Trask from Florida with the second-round pick. There's nothing else they can do at 9. I mean, I would take Noah Fant and a Bradley Chubb because they're on rookie contracts. But, only way I do that is you take that and piece it together and go up to New York and try to get that 2 pick, or you try to work it to get that 3 from Miami. Houston would have to have another team involved. to make that happen. Denver's a long shot to get Deshaun Watson. Could Denver shock us all and go after somebody else, go after a veteran quarterback? Could they go after Matt Ryan, Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't know. Maybe they could afford it, but it looks like they're either going to be stuck with Locke or stuck with the bottom feeders, because those four quarterbacks I just mentioned are the ones that's going in the first round. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Zach Wilson. None of the mock drafts I've read that's been updated has said anything about Florida from Kyle Trask or anybody else that are rated high like those four quarterbacks I just mentioned. So Denver, you're in a really bad spot here. Maybe you could go after Sam Darnold. Do you believe in Darnold that much? You're in Colorado. Darnold played at USC. Maybe he played and had some good games at the University of Colorado, and some of the scouts from Denver said that. Now, I would offer a second-round pick, but do you give up the 9th overall pick for Darnold if I'm desperate and I think that Darnold is that much better than he's definitely better than a Drew Lock. I'm not a Drew Lock guy. I've seen Drew Lock be way off on his throws. He's highly erratic, very inconsistent. I was never a Drew Lock guy. And that's why John Elway stepped down. He can't draft these guys. He can play, but he just can't draft quarterbacks. He's missed about 3 times on quarterback. So it is what it is. Denver, you're probably going at another position, probably linebacker from Penn State, this Parsons guy, instead of a quarterback. Micah Parsons, I think is his name, from, let me see. Yeah, Micaiah Parsons. He's going to replace Von Miller out of Penn State. Linebacker is the least likely bust in the first round over the past 20 years of looking at NFL drafts. So that's what the draft said, that they're going to, get this guy. So anyways, Dallas, I think they keep Dak Prescott. I think they backed themselves in a corner. Now, me personally, I would try to do a sign and trade and maybe go after Zach Wilson, maybe work out something with the Jets, do a sign and trade, send him to the Jets or somebody, or maybe Miami, and get one of those picks. If I am Dallas. Dallas has the 10th pick, but that's not going to happen. They're probably going to pick up a offensive lineman in the draft here. It looks like they're probably going to take an offensive lineman, and they're just going to be stuck with Dak Prescott and have to pay him. I don't see any other way that can go. Same thing. There has been some rumors that maybe the 49ers go after Kirk Cousins, which I think is insane, but he does stay healthy. I understand that. But my guess is if the 49ers can't work out anything to get a upgrade at quarterback, get a Deshaun Watson. Okay, now, if you're Houston, I mentioned this the other day. I want to reiterate this, okay? If you want to get this guy out of your conference, you can trade him to the 49ers for Nick Bosa, this other guy, I forgot his name. Their defensive lineman. They've got a wide receiver there, Brandon Ayuk. You could get him. Ken Law, the defensive lineman, and Bosa, the 12th pick, and then you get Watson. So, okay, that sounds like a lot, but Watson will put you in the Super Bowl hunt immediately. They're deep on the defensive line. They've still got George Kittle. They've still got Deebo Samuel. I would take Ken Law, Nick Bosa, 12th pick. Ken Law, Bosa, 12th pick. Wide receiver for Watson. If I'm the 49er fan, you think that sounds like a whole lot? That is not that much when you're deep at these positions. Do you want to win or not? Do you want to win? Okay? This is what you got to do. And then, okay, so you Houston, you send Watson over there for Bosa, Ken Law, wide receiver 12th pick. Okay? You take that 12th pick and then you call a Jets or you call a Miami and say, what does it take to get that? Okay, we'll give you the 12th pick and we'll give you one of these players, maybe two. And then we go up for 2 or 3. You get Watson out of your conference that way, see? Everybody says Carolina. Carolina don't have enough. The 49ers got players on rookie contracts. See, that's how you work the system. That's why the Colts are going to win a Super Bowl eventually. This guy, Chris Ballard, if this owner is stays off the prescription medication, Jim Irsay, if he stays out of the way, Chris Ballard will, in the next 5 to 10 years or less, deliver a Super Bowl championship for the Colts because he knows how to work the system, okay? He knows how to get more players good players under rookie contracts, and he knows what players to re-sign and what players to let walk. Odds are he lets a guy like T.Y. Hilton walk, okay? So that's what you have to, if you're a general manager of Houston, if you got a little bit of common sense, you don't make the same mistake twice. You don't overpay for running backs and bad contracts. You get rid of that, okay? You don't overpay for wide receivers and running backs. You pay your interior offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and you try to keep your quarterback on a rookie contract, okay? Or you try to get him to restructure, and that does not necessarily mean he's going to lose money, but restructure year by year, depending on how much relief you've got in your cap situation, because it changes year to year, right? So, anyways, in Houston, you work out a deal with San Francisco, or you just keep this guy. You work out with the Jets, but everything says the Jets are going to take this other guy, okay? Zach Wilson. But the Jets, if the Jets don't take him, then you can work out something with Jets, but that still leaves Miami there, see? And Trey Lance and Justin Fields are valuable for Houston. Trey Lance and Justin Fields, one of them will be there at 3. So if you are Houston and Watson has got his, heels, if he's dug in, and you've already let Watt go, and if he's that dug in, and it's pretty bad there, I would try to work out a deal, get him to San Francisco. He'll be very happy there. You get all that back, and I'm Frisco, I send all that back, and then you use that to move up. I think if you're Miami, if you're throwing in Bosa in there, that's an offer that Miami can't refuse. You can offer Bosa for that 3 pick straight up. And a defensive-minded head coach like Flores is going to say, heck yeah. And then if you still got that 3 pick and you got the 12th pick, Bosa's that good. We see what a good pass rush does. Good quarterback play, good pass rush, you win Super Bowls, guys. Good quarterback play, good quarterback protection, pass rush. Everything else is dominoes. Everything else will fall into place, okay? So, anyways, that's what I'm doing if I'm saying, if I don't feel like I can do anything else with Jimmy Garoppolo, I call Houston and say, we got the goods, man. We've got what it takes, okay? But anyways, it is what it is. Minnesota, I think they're probably going to keep Kirk Cousins, even though that the rumors, I think they'll probably know Mike Zimmer. They've got this guy, Clint Kubiak. That's Gary Kubiak's son. He's going to keep that zone block and running scheme in for Dalvin Cook. I get it. You've got a good play there. Chris Spielman, very good. I think his name is Chris Spielman. A very good general manager up there. Knocked it out of the park with their first-round pick last year at wide receiver. They need to go defense. They had lost a lot of guys in free agency and injury last year from defense. You need defense and offensive linemen. That's all I would do in the draft and free agency and build around what you got. I don't think you can upgrade anywhere else. I think Mike Zimmer's on a serious hot seat this year, and he's going to have to pull rabbits out of his rear end to keep his job. Very good coach. I like the guy, but they just don't have the quarterback play to get them there. They're overpaying Kirk Cousins, and they can't do anything anywhere else. They need a guy on a rookie contract. They should go after a Sam Darnold in his contract and do something with Kirk Cousins' contract. If they can make that play and bring some defensive players over there and then turn around and trade their pick for Sam Darnold, that's what I would do, because you got rid of Kirk Cousins' contract and you got a guy, again, on his rookie deal. He's very much cheaper. We're talking $22 million saving for bringing over a guy like a Kirk Cousins or like a Sam Darnold. They picked 14th. So New England. Okay, New England's been coming up now. Mike Reese out of covers ESPN. This guy covers the Patriots for ESPN. He's saying that he thinks that the Patriots will go after Jimmy Garoppolo. They'll make a trade for Garoppolo, probably a second-round pick. They'll bring Garoppolo back, who's a very good cap guy, and they'll see what happens. They picked 15th. Some mock drafts have said they're going to take Mac. I think Mac Jones will fall to them at 15. He's the quarterback out of Alabama. Okay. Other options, they may simply bring back Cam Newton for peanuts. They'll bring him back for peanuts. They'll pick up they got a lot of money. They're like 4th or 5th in total money. A lot of money. A lot of guys who opted out. They're going to come back. They're going to build on defense. And I think that they will they'll go after a guy like Allen Robertson. Trey Burton's going to be afraid. They'll go after these tight ends because that's what Cam Newton likes to throw to. They'll go after tight ends. They will maybe keep him and maybe groove a guy like a Mac Jones. I don't think that they're going to just stay with Jared Stidham. I don't believe that. I think they're going to do something at that quarterback position. So, and they're not going to go after Sam Darnold because the Jets will never trade him within the conference like that. Hold on, everybody. Let me check and see where I'm at here. 17 minutes. I got plenty of time. Okay. I was checking my podcast thing. Derek Carr stays with the Raiders. 18th. Miami's got the 18th pick again. They pick a receiver there. Again, I think they stay with Tua. A lot of people asking me about Washington. Okay. Washington has re-signed this Taylor Heineke guy. I think they keep him. Some have said maybe they trade up and they go after Trey Lance. Okay. I don't think so. I think they're going to keep this Taylor Heineke. He's this amazing story I told you guys about. The guy came off of either XFL or AAF. Had a pretty good playoff game there against Tampa. And I think that with their defensive line, their running back situation, Terry McLaurin, some of the mock drafts have got him taking this Cordarius Toney, wide receiver out of Florida. You put him with McLaurin there. You got a good tight end there. Logan Thomas, you got Gibson at running back. I think they bring back Alex Smith and let him mentor this Taylor Heineke guy again. And maybe if this guy's really good in camp, maybe they start him over. They've only signed him for $8 million 2 years. This guy was making $55,000 a year in one of these semi-pro leagues last year. He hit the lottery, okay? So I think that the Washington will probably give this guy a chance next year. Very athletic, strong arm. He's got all the tools. But we'll see. We'll see how good he does once the league has more film on him, okay? So I think that they do not draft a quarterback. I do not think they acquire any more free agents. I think they roll the dice because they got such a good roster. Really good defensive line. All those first-round picks on defensive line. Even if they lose one, they still have 3. You know, they've got Chase Young, all those guys, Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat. Very good defense, period. Defensive line can rush the passer big time. They won the division last year. Down the stretch, that was my prediction. I thought they would. The Bears, of course, they missed out on Carson Wentz. With the 20th pick, I say they trade that, go after Sam Darnold. They may end up taking back Mitch Trubisky if everything falls through, take him out on the mid-level. They did not. They declined to take his 5th-year option, which would have paid Mitch Trubisky $25 million. So now they're going. Maybe they get out of jail free card. He's their insurance policy. They offer him like a $15 million, something like that. Very cheap to come in for a 1-year contract. Mitch is a backup quarterback in my book. Okay, he's not a starting quarterback in this league. This is a very creative offensive-minded head coach. Barely kept his job this year. Ryan Pace, he's really on the hot seat. He's the guy who drafted this guy, Mitch Trubisky, over a who was it? The quarterback there from Kansas City, and Deshaun Watson. Okay, so he Pat Mahomes, he drafted Mitch Trubisky over these guys. So he should have been fired this past year, that in my book. But for somehow that they decided to keep him, I guess because they got into the playoffs. Okay, the Colts still got that 21st pick, and they keep it. And of course, they'll draft probably the best player available. Looking at other Pittsburgh, I think they restructured Ben Roethlisberger's contract. They've got Dwayne Haskins. Okay, I don't know if Haskins is the guy. He'll get an opportunity because he's going to be on their roster next year for God knows how long. Okay, Ben Roethlisberger, they're still on the hook for about 18 to 20 million, no matter what they do. If they do nothing, he's on the hook for 41 million in cap. So they're definitely going to, and general manager already talked about, they made the comment yesterday that they're definitely going to restructure Pittsburgh. Yeah, Haskins is probably going to be a bust. They're probably just going to have to go back to the draft. It's not going to be the guy that's that other clown that they got from they got hit with the helmet with the quarterback by Myles Garrett. They're not going to keep him, the Oklahoma State guy. Josh, what's his name? He's on their roster. They're not going to keep him. Haskins going to bust out. They're going to have to start over. Yeah, Mason Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, is not going to do anything, and Haskins not going to do anything. You hope you can find a way to bring in J.J. Watt. You guys need another center. You need to sign back your left tackle and make another run at it. But it looks like they're going to have to go out and get a quarterback in 2022. That's my guess. That is my guess. I don't think they do anything this year, though. The Saints, they've been brought up. It looks like Winston's going to take over there. It looks like they're hinting that they're going to stay with Winston over Hill. They're making a lot of moves there to get under the cap, which was $100 million over. Green Bay, I think they keep Aaron Rodgers, and they go heavily after J.J. Watt. Okay. Wow, that was a mouthful. In other news around the league here, yeah, I did want to mention a few other things. That it was a massive contract in baseball. This guy, what's his name? The Padres signed a huge contract here. Fernando Tatis Jr., $340 million, 14 years. This has only worked one time in the last, 10 years. Mike Trout, what did the Angels do? Mike Trout, 12 years, $430 million, didn't even make the playoffs. Mookie Betts, 12 years, $365, they won the World Series. Okay, Mookie Betts was good, okay? Bryce Harper, 13 years, $330 million. He left the Nationals and they win the World Series. You know, these contracts are fool's gold. Giancarlo Stanton, great home run hitter. Love watching this guy play. Stanton from the Marlins, 13 years, $325. Of course, the Yankees acquired him in that huge contract. The Marlins are still terrible. Garrett Cole, Yankees, 9 years, $324. Now, Yankees got their own cable network. They can swallow bad contracts. They can swallow. And of course, Manny Machado was San Diego last year. What did they do last year? They're going to be good this year. A-Rod, 10 years, Yankees, $275. They have the money to swallow it. But look at everybody else, though. Mike Trout, nothing. Bryce Harper, the team he left, they win the World Series. Manny Machado, what did the Padres do last year? I mean, they don't do equal nothing. I mean, it looks great. The guy's set for many lifetimes, but they simply don't do anything. The Padres, and think about the Dodgers. They've let a lot of guys go before they really started dipping in this past year. And now, of course, they won the World Series there. But pitching, you still need relief pitching. The Yankees miss on so many people, we don't keep up with them, that because they have the money to make up for their mistakes. But like I said, Trout doing nothing there. He's a great player, but what are the Angels doing? What did the Padres do last year? What did Miami do? They traded the guy. They couldn't afford the contract. They end up trading Giancarlo Stanton. Bryce Harper leaves. The former team wins a World Series. Philadelphia didn't even make the playoffs that year, did they? And it's just, and of course, if you really want to get into the A-Rod contract, when he signed the original one with Texas, what did they do? What did they do when he signed the first $200 million contract? So, and other news, Tim Tebow retired. The Tim Tebow thing, it's one of those things in life, you never want to live life with regrets, okay? You take chances in life. You do what you want to do. If you don't make it, you don't make it. You just, he didn't make it. The guy's always going to, he's got a good personality, very good guy. He's great on the SEC network. He'll be a good college analyst for college football, probably be a preacher or something. Couldn't make it, didn't think he was going to make it as an MLB player, but he doesn't have that regret. He don't have that regret that, hey, I should have did this, He'll never have woulda, should have on his mind. He didn't make it, and I think he's at peace with that, and it's a good story to follow. Michael Jordan didn't make it, but he came back to basketball, but he got it off of his out of his mind. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these football players, like a Kyler Murray or a Russell Wilson, because you can play baseball for a long time, may retire from football and go play baseball just to see if they can make it. Those guys were drafted. Kyler Murray, I want to say he was drafted. I know Russell Wilson was drafted in baseball. I could see it happening, more Wilson now than Murray because he don't have that much to prove, Wilson, I'm sure he can probably play the infield. Very strong arm. I want to say he pitched too, but I know Kyler Murray did. Both of them, you can tell they played baseball for years. Especially Wilson. He's very good slide. Jameis Winston played baseball at Florida State, too. A lot of quarterbacks play baseball. Bo Jackson, Deion, going back here. Some guys make it, some guys don't, but a lot of guys still like the dream, and they still like to scratch that itch. So I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. I was reading, not to say I was right, but Vincent Jackson turned out to be, John Elway. Man, he would have been great. Been like Mickey Mantle or somebody potentially. What else was I going to say? Yeah, that Vincent Jackson thing. Found out he had an alcohol problem. I told you guys, these guys, they try to chase a void. I know alcohol, you want to go to AA and all that stuff, but it's chasing that void. So, the advice you want to give to these kids when they're coming up, and like a friend of mine, her son's going to be, he's a Major League Baseball prospect. And I say, what is his plan after baseball? What is his plan? And she named a few things. And I said, you should stay on him for that because especially these football players, they're lost after it. And that's why I was telling you guys the other day, but the Vincent Jackson thing is look at Jason Witten. He went right into coaching. He didn't hang around the house a lot and become antsy and idle. He didn't. He went right. He took a college, high school job. Pickles. Jason Witten, former Dallas Cowboys, going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Took a job at a high school coaching job immediately. He get right into it because he didn't want that void. He didn't want that downtime. He wanted to stay on what he. On that next chapter, So a lot of these players do that. I want to say that Brett Favre is coaching in Mississippi high school team, but that brings him a lot of happiness. It ain't about the money. It's about filling that void being able to do that. Drew, I mentioned this the other day. Drew Brees, he's going to be working Monday Night Football. I'm sure he's going to be working some of his charities. He's going to be working with ESPN, from my understanding. Now, he hasn't officially retired yet, but I think he's going to. And I'm sure that Phillip Rivers is going to do something as well. Now, he's got 1,000 kids to keep up with, Phillip Rivers. But anyways, everybody, that is all I got for today. That is all I got. I was ran out on my third podcast there. If you like the show, share the show. Check out Northeast Streaming Sports. Check me out there, the Mac and Jack Show on Facebook. You can look up Northeast Streaming Sports on YouTube. I'm on there. My show is on there. I will be on the Mac and Jack YouTube channel under Northeast Streaming Sports Sunday, 8 a.m. Central Time, talking NFL and all the major sports that are happening, big stories like the ones that I brought up. So I will be back on my show hopefully next Tuesday night around 9 p.m. Central Time. This is a special snow day edition because we've been snowed in all week. Been looking at places down in Clearwater, Florida. Like to move down there, kind of close to Tom Brady and Tiger Woods and all those guys. It's, 65, 70 degrees there. We've got 6-7 inches of snow on the ground here. Even in Nashville, you got spring training down there. Good weather down there. No state taxes. I like Clearwater. Very nice. My ex-brother-in-law's boss used to have a condo there. But you got the Tampa Bay Bucks right outside that area in the middle of the Florida. It's 1,000 degrees in the summertime, but you do got a breeze. So anyways, food for thought there. Hopefully I'll be back Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Time. I'll be on my regular schedule, but I like doing these shows because I guess it gives me more time to prepare and get deeper. I'm over an hour because I had more time to prepare. So everybody have a good rest of the weekend. Be careful if you're in the Southeast driving in this ice. I can't, even in Texas, thoughts and prayers to you guys and your situation there. And we can get winter behind us, okay? So have a good day, everybody. I will see you Tuesday on my show here, hopefully at 9 p.m. Central Time, around that, here on Sports Skope. Thank